Why do you believe that the general public haven't been told the truth, and how long do you think it's been going on?
Well, I agree with Stanton Friedman and Gary Heseltine and many others on this, that it's to do with power and control, because by releasing the information, people would be up in arms. I don't care what people say, that some people would forgive people, but there would be a core of people who would not forgive the withholding of such a massive secret for 60 years, and they would want heads to roll, and people would start examining how this secret was maintained, and they would want rid of a whole tier of people. They'd want them, basically gotten rid of. And there are people above the level of government who coerce government through whatever position they have in whatever organisation who have been involved. And I think that it's to do with relinquishment of power, which would have to happen if they release the information, and to do with oil as well, to do with technological secrets which would have to be released. Yes, they released some of the technology in the commercial world from the Roswell crash, as related in Philip J. Corso's book, but I believe they kept all the best stuff, the energy stuff, and that would have to come out. And if that came out, the whole energy technology of the planet would have to change. We'd have to replace all of the fossil fuels, and anyone involved in fossil fuel industry would, their power base would collapse. So it would be a revolution, which a lot of people don't want.
Do you not think it has to happen?
I think pressure's building up for it to happen. How long it can last, I don't know. I guess it all depends whether we get a new President Kennedy who wanted to do that, and
Avoid assassination.
Exactly, and can avoid assassination. Yeah.
So what evidence so far do you think undeniably proves the existence of UFO and an alien presence?
Okay, well, I believe the evidence comes from four areas. It comes from photographs. Now, photographs are quite easy to debunk because with today's technology you can fake them. So I don't believe that presents to me the strongest evidence. There's the abduction phenomena. People who are hypnotically regressed, who come out with stories of being abducted. Again, people explain it away as if it's just a person's imagination. But I believe those two areas provide strong evidence, but not the strongest evidence. The next evidence would be documentation which has been leaked from governments. Again, people pass it off as disinformation. Now, those three areas, I would say, provide strong evidence. But the strongest evidence, the most compelling evidence, is witness testimony, in my view, and that's what's convinced me from the Disclosure Project. Witnesses from the Rendlesham Forest case, witnesses from the Roswell case, and witnesses from more or less known cases like the Berwyn Mountains case. There are many, many, many cases with basically very reliable, compelling witness testimony, and I don't think they're all telling fibs.
Have you ever considered collaborating closely with other leading ufologists such as Tim Good and Ross Hemsworth, who's here, to try and create a sort of a bigger, more rounded picture of what's going on, because you all sort of specialise in different areas?
Yeah, that's a good question. As soon as you start collaborating and creating a single group, then it can create problems, which is why I prefer to work alone. I feel that you can be more effective as a one-man band because you don't have to consult with anyone when you make a decision as to what it is you're going to research and how you're going to tackle something. However, I do collaborate with people, and I've interviewed many, many people, such as Timothy Good. Now, when I interviewed Timothy, he did say that he would take part in a British disclosure project, as did Gary Heseltine. But events such as that require funding, and this is the key problem to creating an organisation, is that you need to fund it. And to be honest, I don't think that the Disclosure Project, it was very good, but it didn't achieve its objective. I think there are more, if you think laterally and come up with new ideas to try and get the truth out. That's where I come from. I'm looking for new techniques, basically, other than having conferences and just getting around the table and talking. I prefer to work to my own agenda.
We've seen some exciting new footage over the last few years, with more and more people using video cameras How long do you think it will be before evidence is recorded that is just so strong that it's simply undeniable?
I don't think that will come. Because whatever evidence is produced on video could be fabricated. It needs to be demonstrated so people can actually go and touch it. I would suggest, and that's backed up by people who we trust, trusted scientists, etc. People who run our universities, who get involved in it, and yes, this is real. So it has to be a combination of things. I think video, being able to touch it, the professors' reports, etc. It has to be a whole rack of evidence presented to the public. There's a lot of technology available now to anybody to be able to create superb CGI effects. So the answer is no, we can't believe what we see on video. And not only that, we can't believe what we see with our naked eye, because some UFOs are alleged to appear and can be visible from one point on the ground, but not visible at a different angle. And this is due to the way that the craft with their gravitational propulsion system kind of creates a gravity lens, as it were, so that light can emanate with that angle, but not that angle. So they are manipulating gravity, space-time, which means that what you see is not necessarily what is, even if you're actually seeing it. So no on both counts.
We've seen some fantastic series from you, from the Rich Planet series and from the Silent Killers, that's it. What's in the pipeline? What have we got to look forward to?
Well, I've been filming in North Wales last week for an investigation into the Berwyn Mountains UFO case, and I had no knowledge of that case up until a few months ago, and I've spoken to a couple of researchers who've been researching it for years and years, and what's clear to me from that is our government are paranoid about that case for whatever reason, and there has been disinformation put out on that case without a doubt. And in the documentary that I'm making, I'm trying to get to the bottom of why this particular case the government seem to want people to keep quiet about and not know about. Being interested in UFOs, it kind of automatically takes you at some point into the field of crop circles, because many people believe that the two are related. And so I thought that I should investigate crop circles, albeit from my own perspective of objective evidence, rather than just going, ooh, isn't that a nice pattern? To be honest with you, I'm not really interested in going and standing in a crop circle. That doesn't interest me. What interests me is the amount of skullduggery, shall we say, going on with various different parties, including government, and I hope to get to the bottom of that in a documentary that I'm going to bring out. And it's not going to be about looking at pretty crop circles, I can assure you.